And so where we ended up finding the leak was right down in here. Right there. Right where the end of my brazing rod is, right there. That's where it bubbled. So I don't know if you can see, there's kind of a little dark spot there that makes you, right there, a little dark spot right there, makes you kind of think you can see the hole. You can definitely see it when it was bubbling. So, everybody has always talked about, wondered about, made claims, whatever, about brazing up an aluminum coil, and I don't think you would even call that brazing, but welding, soldering, whatever you want to call it. So I saw this stuff here, and it is very low temp. It's relatively stiff for what I expected when I watched the videos on the guys using it. And I tried it on a couple of pieces, just of aluminum, and it flowed pretty good and stuck. I mean, it stuck really well. So I took a fitting here, welded it in, took some 7/8 copper and pinched off the end, and this thing should be sealed up now, at least from here. Now the reason I wanted 2 Schraders is to get oxygen out of it. So I wanted to be able to completely purge through and have no oxygen left in the coil at all, and do a pure nitrogen test for the pressure test in case I do get it to hold and I'm successful. I want it to hold overnight and be no oxygen, so it's completely inert, and we get no pressure change, or very little, as nitrogen does. Oxygen will certainly go up and down quite a bit. So I'm going to change the tip on my B tank, on my turbo torch, everybody calls them. So I'm going to put this smallest one that I've got on it, and I'm going to, I almost want to take this pan off, and because I know I'm going to burn it if I don't. But I'm going to try to get in there and see if we can weld that one spot. Solder it, braze it, weld it, call it whatever you want to. I'm going to see if we can fix this. So let's first put some pressure on it and demonstrate a couple of things. Number one, let's make sure we don't have any leaks where we've been sealing it up. And number two, let's go ahead and witness it leaking right there at the spot again that we're going to try to fix. Okay, got right over 160 pounds in it, and it was a very slow leak. So I'm going to grab some bubble soap and we'll witness the leak again before we fix it. You can see it is a really slow leak. And it's leaking right there. Let's get the light on. It was leaking right there. So let's take just a little bit of this. See if we can see it bubbling I'm starting to see the bubble grow very slowly. Try to get the camera exactly right. I don't know that this is going to be as good of a test as I really wanted to do on this stuff. I don't think I've ever seen a leak that small. It's almost like the leak is so tiny, this bubble soap is too thick for it. Is the spot. Let's pull that other video up and just make sure. A little spot right there. See that little dark spot? Try and show it to you. I thought I was seeing it, but I wasn't sure till I sprayed it. But right there. Right down in that joint right there. Looks like a little void. And that is definitely. See, look at that. It's bubbling big time right there. And it's quit now. So there she is. All right. So, get the light back on. I think that down at the bottom is just it gathering. I just can't believe that moving it has caused that much of a variance in what we were seeing before. I mean, because we saw a bubble right out of that little void right there. I mean, it was blowing up big time. I'm up here flexing these tubes now, trying to make it leak. That's really something there. This is the same coil. There's the model and serial. And I mean, it was blowing a big bubble before. She ain't doing it now. And I sure did want to try out my new snake oil soldering, brazing, whatever it is, stick. And that's just not drastic enough for me to get excited over. I think I see it moving right there. But it's nothing like it was when we took it out of the house. I mean, it would flat out blow a bubble. So that's disappointing. Really thought we were going to do something here. And we have got pressure on it. Well, rats. All right, so let's cut a couple of little pieces off of the same kind of little distributor tubes, and let's go ahead and demonstrate that product anyway. Show you why I was so excited about it. Okay, so I just laid this brick on them two pieces, and I'm gonna take a little of this, and I don't know what we're gonna call it, solder, weld, braze, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna hook those two pieces together and show you why I'm so excited about trying this on an aluminum coil. You know this stuff will just burn away. Alright, let's try that. So I'm going to let that cool off, and then I'm going to tug on it a little bit in front of the camera. Alright, it's been a few minutes. Yeah. So I can touch it now. And let's look at it. And you can see, not only am I tugging on it pretty good, but I'm trying to pull it apart. And I'm not able. And I mean, this ain't nothing but a little old piece of aluminum tube. There it goes. So what I've done is ripped it in another spot. Not able to pull apart the actual solder or weld or whatever you want to call that. But now you can see why it is I want to try that on an aluminum coil. So I don't know what happened here. And You know, I may get this video up later and be viewing it and see a tiny leak, but I would rather see a compelling situation to do this kind of test and to see that thing leak. But it's easy enough to drop these 4 screws. There's 2 of those in the back and 2 right here on the front, and this pan goes out of your way. And I think I could, especially it being on the end down here, I think I could get that torch right there and run around that thing good and maybe fix it in the field quick. But like I say, we saw the other video, that's definitely the spot that it was leaking in. And I just cannot imagine how in the world, I think I see a little more of a bubble now. And I mean, I bent these things around. I tried to make it leak, but when I try this out, I'd like to see a real bubble, a real leak.